everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play. This is The Crown and the Flame, Book 3, Chapter 11 of 17. Raiden finds his loyalties divided and his time running short as Azura's army marches on Stormholt. So it's another Raiden chapter. Awesome. The Traitor. I really wish we could see this map without there's always something over it. We know that the Empire came from across the sea to the west here. This is Fedoria, which they hit first. This is Enin, which is the capital, which they hit almost instantly, which was amazing. I guess that they came in through the sea inlet, but still, you'd think there would have been lookouts posted here and here, over here, to see someone was coming. Of course, we have no sense of scale. Fedoria might be the size of a fingernail on the map. I don't know. You got Stormholt over here. The ruins of Rajkur was where Kenna hung out and learned fighting from a monk. Aurelia is over here. Panrion is down here. Lycos is down here. I guess that's 5 kingdoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I'm missing something. But anyway... it's kind of smallish, for all we know, this thing could be about the size of England, and, the Empire could be the size of, I don't know, America? We don't have any maps of the Empire, I don't think, so, Thorngate, that was the 5th one. Which we never hear from again, which actually kind of bugs me, because the reason we never hear about Thorngate again is because in the second book, the leader of Thorngate can either betray you or stay true to you, and so I guess in order to honor the sanctity of that choice, we must never speak of it again, which is frustrating. I can't help but feel that even if you couldn't make Rose a recurring character, it seems like it would be easy enough to bring her along if she was loyal, and bring along, I don't know, some kind of secondary character replacement Rose lackey if she wasn't. But I guess they didn't want to introduce more characters at this late stage, which is, okay, legitimate. Alright, stop complaining, play. God, and I gotta say, the art here is so gorgeous. Anytime we're in a scene, even though I'm reading, there's sun playing through the clouds, or there's, whatever this is, fairy lights or pollen or something. It's so gorgeous. I have seriously thought about writing for this game just for the pretty pictures. Anyway. Now playing as Raiden. Shackled and footsore. Oh, you bitch. Sorry. She's keeping us in chains. Shackled and footsore, you march with Azura's army a few days from Stormholt. Are we there yet? No. How about now? Please stop talking. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot a white horse centering around the army's rear ranks. On its back rides the Empress's daughter, Leah. Good morning, Raiden. A fine morning to you as well, Your Highness. You may entrust the prisoner to me. Much as it pains me, Your Highness, I have orders. As do I, from my mother. The guard bows and marches ahead to join the rest of the army. That was a lie! And a convincing one. I am becoming a bad influence on you. As you march, Leah steers her horse into a steady trot alongside you. Your chains clink gently as you reach up to pat the horse's flank. Are you enjoying your walking tour of the 5 kingdoms? Yes, but... Raiden, are many people going to die soon? In the battle? It is likely so, I'm afraid. Is there any chance Queen Kenna will surrender? I think that is doubtful. Kenna is proud and fierce. It took her 2 years, countless wounds, and the lives of dear friends to reclaim Stormhold. She'll defend it to her last breath.
My mother says power is built on sacrifice, but... Leah glances around. But she's never sacrificed anything. Everyone else does it for her.
You're referring to the life your mother must take each day to retain her power.
It's not just for power.
What do you mean?
When my mother consumes the lives of others, it prolongs her life. She uses them to preserve her youth.
Are you telling me your mother doesn't age? Leah, how old is the Empress?
I don't know. She's been Empress since the king of Morosi died.
Morosi hasn't had a king in 1,000 years. Gods, if Azura is that old, then she's been behind every war between the Empire and the Five Kingdoms. I have to know more.
I'm not sure I should be talking about this.
Now is your chance to learn about Azura's rise to power and help Leah see the truth about her mother. I should ask to hear the whole story. Please, I must know. I don't know why we're getting these legend points, because in the first book, the legend points were actually useful because it meant you sometimes didn't have to spend diamonds because the legend points would do it for you. And I think we've only seen that once in this third book, whereas it used to be more of a thing. So that's kind of like, why am I collecting these points that will do nothing?
Well, I don't know the whole story, but I'll try. What would you like to know?
Tell me about... Okay, that's a lot. Azura's origins, how Azura became Empress, Azura's first invasion, Azura's second invasion, and recent history. Assuming that we can do all of these, let's start at the top. Azura's origins.
I don't know much about my mother's early life. No one is alive who remembers, and my mother doesn't speak of it. But I know a little about where she came from. They called it the Stormlands. It's a great desert south of Morosi, where there once lived others.
Other what? Other people like your mother?
There is no one like my mother, but there were others who could control the lightning.
What happened to them?
I don't know. Sickness, maybe, or perhaps they went somewhere. All I know is once there were many, then there were few.
And now there is one.
What else would you like to know?
Tell me about how Azura became Empress.
At some point, my mother came north to Morosi, a city ruled by an arrogant king, loathed by his own people. He challenged my mother to a game of riddles. If she won, the king would relinquish the crown. But if he won, my mother would have to marry him.
A riddle contest? That sounds like quite a fantastic story. So we're getting a flashback to the King of Morosi, who is very attractive, nice dresser, snappy. I keep my life, and you keep my kingdom? You're mad.
Is it madness for me to offer you mercy?
Your people might say so. What do you know of ruling?
I know that they despise you. I know that they whisper in taverns and dark alleyways of a coming revolution. Bow to me, wise king, and I can heal this angry city.
I will not bend for some pale desert hag.
Tell me, O wise one, do you know what happens when a proud tree that refuses to bend
Meets a storm?
It breaks. But the king was unable to answer her riddle, so he conceded defeat and surrendered his crown.
And then I suppose he went away into the countryside and was never heard from again.
Yes, they say he lived out his life as a happily humbled hermit.
Quite a tidy ending, isn't it? And rather strange for a king to gamble his entire kingdom on a game. If one didn't know better, one might wonder whether the story was simply made up.
I suppose so.
What happened next?
My mother traveled to each of the ancient kingdoms, facing similar challenges from similar kings and besting each one. With every tale of victory, her subjects grew to love her even more, and so the Queen of Merozi was crowned Empress of Dusitoria.
I see.
What else would you like to know?
Tell me about Azura's first invasion.
Several hundred years ago, my mother traveled to the Black Spine Mountains to share Dusitora's prosperity. But she was met with
resistance? My people have no need of your rule or your threats.
Your people live hard lives. They shiver and starve in huts of stone and straw. Please, let me help.
My people neither starve nor shiver, and we do not need the help of some fool who deems herself a god. I am a god. Why? Because of that power you wield. If that is the case, then we are all gods here.
The fire tribes attacked my mother's guards. Fearing for their safety, she retreated back across the sea.
That is one way to interpret it.
What do you mean?
Well, do you imagine the fire tribes tell the story the same way?
No. In their version, they're probably the heroes.
Go on.
They would probably say that my mother attacked the 5 kingdoms and the fire tribes drove her away.
And soon after, the fire tribes began to disappear.
I've never heard anything about that.
No, you wouldn't have.
What else would you like to know?
Tell me about Azura's second invasion.
50 years ago, my mother came offering peace to the leaders of the 5 kingdoms. First, she met with Hector Nevraki,
Luther's grandfather. I can imagine how that went.
I must say, the famous Nevraki hospitality leaves much to be desired.
You march into my home, deliver an ultimatum, and expect what? Tea and cake?
It is not an ultimatum, simply a promise, which I have made to countless other rulers before you, and kept.
And what promise is that?
I will deliver your people untold prosperity, with or without you.
So it's kneel or die then. Both such appealing options. You know, I think I've got a better idea. Why don't you saunter back down to the docks, get on your ship, and take that bony white arse back where it came from?
And why would I do that?
Because right about now, my fleet will be sailing into Morosi and turning their cannons on that pretty princess cottage you call a castle. What? How's that for Navraki hospitality? And I suppose your people say that Hector Navraki rejected the Empress's greatest terms, thereby starting a war that has lasted for decades.
Yes. It's a pity the whole world doesn't just bow to your mother outright and save themselves a whole lot of trouble. What else would you like to know?
Tell me about recent history.
For the past 50 years, the Navraki of Abanthus have led a war against Dusatora, sometimes here.
Attack!
Sometimes there.
Charge!
It's Diaphalos. And so my mother retreated behind the walls of Morosi to fortify her people until the day we can end this war once and for all.
And Luther Navraki conquered a continent to do the same. Leah, these stories your people tell, you don't truly believe them, do you?
I used to.
But you don't anymore.
I don't know. Sometimes it's like the Empress they talk about in the stories, and the one I know, are two different people. And the one in the stories never takes innocent lives. But these stories, my people do believe them, and sometimes I think my mother does too.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Leah stares down at her horse and collects her thoughts. Oth val on aros et rem.
What did you say?
What? Oh, it's something my mother says. A kind of oath. It means for every life a purpose.
Leah, that language, is it ancient Irithi? Can you read it?
Yes, my mother taught me. Maneuvering around your chains, you reach beneath your shirt and pull out the anti-magic text you took from the Fedorian library.
Can you translate this?
I can try. You hand the book up to Leah. She opens the page you marked and begins to read. And the shepherd spake, saying, Turn thee away, O mighty storm, for this flock is mine. And the storm did reply, saying, Leah's brow furrows in confusion. Raiden, what is this?
I should answer honestly. This book contains a way to stop your mother's power.
What? I don't. Raiden, whatever this is, I can't. Leah's hands fidget. Her gaze darts nervously back and forth as she readies the reins to ride away.
I should confess the truth. Leah, the truth is, I'm here as a spy for Stormholt.
What?
Come now, little fox. Don't act so surprised.
I think I knew all along.
Of course you did. You're a smart girl. You're also kind and compassionate, which is why I hope you'll help me stop your mother from hurting a lot of people.
Leah runs her hands over the book. She bites her lip. If I do this, my mother will know somehow. She always does. And I'll be held responsible.
That's true. And if you do nothing, no one will ever know. No one but you.
She shuts her eyes. Then, blinking away tears, she nods. Okay, I'll do it. Leah hides the book in her horse's saddlebags. It will take me some time, but I'll do what I can.
Thank you, Leah.
Leah beams at you, then turns to ride away. Suddenly,
attack!
The air erupts with the sound of screams and clashing swords.
What's going on? It's an ambush! They've broken through the lines! Protect the... Ugh!
The army's right flank falls apart as a platoon of Stormholt riders bursts through. Half are met by Joran, charging in on a steel gray stallion. The rest break off to attack the litter carrying Empress Azura. I can head toward Azura or Joran. I truly don't know what the right answer is, but I feel like Joran will try to kill us in the conflict, so Azura it is.
Come on.
You head Leah's horse toward Azura, but a wedge of Stormholt riders reach her first.
Kill the witch. You may try.
Bursting from behind the curtains, Azura slashes a hand through the air. Tongues of lightning crack like whips, striking friend and foe alike.
Ah!
Why are they attacking us? Surely they know they can't win.
Those men aren't armed for an ambush. They must be a scouting party, caught in the wrong place and unable to retreat.
So they charged instead?
Brave fools. I've got to create a distraction so the Stormholt soldiers can escape. I should...
Raiden, look out!
Your thoughts are cut short as a second squad explodes through the rear lines. A Stormholt soldier gallops straight at you.
Raiden! You! Get away from him! A flash of white light leaps from Leah's hand, striking the soldier in the chest. Oof. He sways on his horse, but stays mounted.
It's another witch. Get her. The soldiers close in on Leah.
The air crackles feebly as she struggles to summon her power again.
Leah, run!
The soldiers startle back as Leah's horse rears, wheels around, and breaks into a sprint.
After her! We can't let her escape!
The soldiers charge after Leah, but before you can give chase, a towering figure looms before you, astride a dark horse.
Hello, traitor. Jackson!
You have terrible timing. You're just in time. I don't have time for this. It doesn't say. I'm gonna say you're just in time.
You're just in time. Your men have lost their minds. They're about to do something that will... Shut up!
He drops from the saddle and rips his sword from its sheath.
I don't want to hear one lying hiss from that forked tongue.
Jackson advances, dropping into a fighting stance. A dozen soldiers join him. You clench your shackled fists. I have to get away and rescue Leah, but can I do it without harming Kenna's soldiers? Jackson charges.
Oh, shoot.
I don't think threatening him will help, so let's go with dodge. Jackson slashes at your head. You duck the attack and whirl to face him. Jackson, please!
Be quiet!
He lunges for your chest. You dodge his strike, diving across the muddy ground and stumble to your feet.
Enough of this! Get him!
Jackson's men begin to close around you. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot Jackson's horse.
You don't mind if I borrow this, do you?
You swing into the saddle and take off after Leah.
Yeah!
You follow the dust and sound of beating hooves into a copse of trees.
There.
Ahead on the path, you can just make out the distant shape of riders.
After her! I should scout the terrain. You steer your horse off the main path and up a deer hill rising into the hills. Deer trail. Now, let's see what we're working with. Below you, a single dirt trail winds through the woods. Looks like the road forks, and the left fork is a dead end. Suddenly, you catch a glimpse of white hair and kick off down the hill. Yeah! You burst onto the path just behind the Stormholt riders. Huh? The rearmost rider spots you. Twisting in the saddle, he raises a bow. Dodge left. Your horse veers to the side, and the arrow whistles past. Is that all you've got? Suddenly, the path veers around a blind curve, and you lose sight of the Stormholt riders. Hells. Your horse draws up short. Before you, the path splits in two directions. Right. You spur your horse down the right path, and the Stormholt riders spring immediately into view. Found you. You charge right into their midst. Hells, where did you come from? A Stormholt rider draws his sword and slashes. Race past him. You barrel forward, ducking in the saddle. The rider's blade whistles past your teeth as you surge to the head of the pack. Ahead, the path breaks out into a clearing. A riderless horse with a sprained ankle limps at the edge of the tree line. You spot Leah on foot, running. Leah.
Raiden! You leap down from your horse, and Leah throws her arms around your neck, sobbing. In the distance, you hear hoofbeats approaching. They're still coming. What do we do?
Follow me, quickly.
Leah clings to your wrist as you run for the edge of the clearing. Beneath the gnarled roots of an ancient tree, you huddle together in silence.
I found their horses. This way. They can't have gone far.
You hear footsteps through the underbrush as the soldiers fan out and search. Raiden! Shh. Sirius, my horse. He hurt his ankle.
Silence her. Quiet, girl.
Beneath the tree roots, you lie still. Leah trembles next to you as the footsteps of the soldiers grow closer and closer until...
Men, to me!
You hear footsteps receding. Peering from your hiding spot, you glimpse Jackson on a stolen horse.
The Empire's riders are coming. We have to retreat.
The soldiers mount their horses and take off in a hurry. Jackson lingers, glaring into the tree line.
Raiden, I don't know what game you're playing, but this isn't over.
Jackson, I did my best not to harm them. I hope you'll see that someday. Jackson's words echo across the forest. He scowls, spurs his horse, and rides off. Are they gone? Are we safe? You emerge from your hiding place to the sight of the Empire's riders approaching. For now. Later that evening, back at the army's encampment.
Come, pretty boy. The Empress requests your presence.
Of course. Outside Azura's tent, you pass by two soldiers carrying out a dead attendant. Guardsy elbows you jovially, like an old friend.
Ah, the Empress's sacrifice. She'll be in a generous mood. Good news for the hero who rescued her daughter, eh?
Yes, good news. You push through the flap and enter the tent. Inside, several attendants bustle about, preparing Azura for bed. Excellent timing. Joran was just filling me in on the outcome of today's attack.
The last of the Stormholt soldiers have been rounded up and executed, Your Radiance.
And their captain?
I'm afraid he and a small squad eluded us.
No matter. Their deaths will come soon enough. Azura turns and regards you, grinning from ear to ear. You've never seen her so happy. All of you, leave us. The attendants bow and depart. As Joran heads for the exit, he stops in front of you, respect and lingering distrust warring on his face.
Realm Rat, you did well today.
He awkwardly offers his hand. I guess we'll shake it? Clenching your teeth, you shake Joran's hand for exactly as long as necessary before he departs. Come here. You stand before Azura. I wish to thank you, personally. Azura slides a hand under your chin, lifting your lips to hers. Her kiss is soft and tender, with just a hint of something hungrier. And now, I would thank you as your empress. For your bravery in the face of peril, I grant you your freedom. Azura unlocks your manacles, slides them from your wrists, and casts them aside.
You honor me, Your Radiance.
And I have another honor to bestow. Kneel before me. You kneel at Azura's feet. Now rise, Lord Raiden of Stormholt.
I thank you, Your Radiance. I look forward to claiming the castle after tomorrow's battle.
Azura chuckles.
Is something funny?
Lord Raiden, there will be no battle. My finest assassins set out for Stormholt this morning. Kenna Reese will die at dusk.
Blood pounds in your ears as her words sink in. You glance outside at the setting sun.
Is something the matter, Lord Raiden?
Forgive me, Your Radiance. It has been a trying day. With your permission, I would take my leave and rest.
Of course.
You bow and leave Azura's tent. The moment you're out of sight, you start running. I have to get to Stormholt and warn Kenna. At the encampment's outer edges, you find the horses tethered and grab the first one you see. Then you hear footsteps behind you.
You're leaving, aren't you?
You turn to find Leah, standing all alone, holding the anti-magic text. I am.
Because you're a spy, and this was all a trick.
It was.
Even rescuing me? You place your hands on Leah's shoulders.
Leah, you are a wonderful person, and I helped you because that's what friends do for one another. But your mother wants to kill my friends, and a great many others. I can't allow that.
I understand, and I want to help. She hands you the book. I translated it for you. It's full of spells for disrupting different kinds of magic. I marked the ones that should be effective against my mother.
Thank you, Leah. I should give her a hug.
You sweep Leah into a hug, spinning her around. She giggles as you set her back on her feet. Raiden, I have a favor to ask.
What is it?
Leah bites her lip, hesitating, then blurts out, Take me with you!
To Stormholt?
I want more than all this. I want excitement and adventure and friends. I don't want to hurt people or stand by and watch my mother do the same. I want to help Raiden, however I can.
I see, but it could be dangerous. Will you bring Leah with you to Stormhold?
Well, yes!
Yeah, I've never clicked yes fast enough. Let's go.
Truly?
Yes, child. But quickly, we must reach Stormhold by nightfall. You pull Leah into the saddle, spur your horse, and steer off towards Stormhold. Miles of flat terrain disappear behind you as the sun sinks in the sky. The amber waves of the borderlands slowly give way to highland greens.
Raiden, what is Stormhold like?
Stormhold is green and happy and free. And it will remain so if we make it in time.
Leah's hands clutch the saddle horn, knuckles white with worry. Then her brow furrows with stubborn determination. We'll make it. We have to.
That's the spirit.
By the time you reach Stormhold, daylight is failing. You dismount near the stables.
Wait here and hide. When it's safe, I'll come back for you.
What if you don't come back?
I will.
You hurry toward the castle. Creeping along the base of the walls, you come to a familiar hidden passage, but find the door already open.
The assassins. They're here.
Your frantic feet carry you up the secret stairs and corridors all the way to Kenna's quarters. As you slide in through the door, you spy a sleeping figure beneath the blankets.
Thank the gods, I made it in time.
But as you approach, you realize the figure isn't breathing. Kenna! You clutch your weapon and yank back the covers, but all you find is pillows. Suddenly, you feel the cold rasp of a blade sliding under your throat.
Welcome home, traitor.
Oh, Kenna, come on. You know him better than that. I know him better than that, and I haven't. Oh, jeez. You gained the trust of Empress Azura and learned powerful secrets that may help to defeat her. You learned about Azura's rise to power and helped Leah confront the truth about her mother. You convinced Leah to translate the anti-magic book and gain powerful spells to combat Azura. Despite all odds, you managed not to harm any soldiers of Stormhold. You spirited Leah away from her mother. She'll be safer and may prove helpful later on. And sure enough, there's Leah, as predicted. And it looks like we got all the right points, even though a couple of those questions I wasn't sure of the right answer. So that was chapter 11. Whew, that was a lot. You know, because we had all the history stuff. And, you know, things are speeding up. That's exciting. I guess the next chapter will be convincing Kenna that we're not a traitor, which feels like it should be easy, but we'll see. So that was chapter 11. Thank you for watching these. If you're here with me now, I'll see you in the next play with chapter 12. Bye-bye.